All right, so we had a couple videos just with some mathematics of operations with polynomial functions. So where does this happen in the real world? That's what all these example problems, these word problems that you guys don't love, help us to understand that, yeah, this is out in the real world and here's how it happens. So we're going to write a polynomial function with it modeling the situation. We've got Carolina. She makes wind chimes to sell at the local street market. As Carolina produces a greater number of wind chimes, she can lower the price per unit. The function v of x equals 48 minus 2x relates the price v to the number produced x. So the price v is what she's charging, and that's related to the number of wind chimes she is producing x. The cost c of making x wind chimes can be represented with a function. So this is what it costs her to make the wind chimes. How many wind chimes should Carolina sell each week to maximize her profit, P? All right, so we are going to write a couple new functions here. And we're going to make sense of this. So we're going to write a function for the revenue. Now, revenue is the money that she brings in. Like, this is her income. So how is she making money? We're going to say her revenue. She makes money by the price that she charges. Here's what she charges. Remember, V was the price, times the number of wind chimes that she's making. So her revenue is going to be equal to 48 minus 2x. So that's what the price she has, times the number of wind chimes she has. That's the revenue. Does that make sense? So the number, what she's charging people, times the number of wind chimes that she's making will be her revenue. So we want to go ahead, we'll just go ahead and simplify this now because we can multiply this out. I'm going to distribute from the back end of the polynomial. I'm going to do 48 times x, so 48x, and then x times a negative 2x is a negative 2x squared. That exponent just changed because I was multiplying x's. So her revenue is equal to 48x minus 2x squared. So now let's think about, well, how is she going to make money? Because we want to talk about maximizing her profit. So profit is when you take the revenue, the money she brings in, the income, but you have to subtract out her cost. A profit is anything above the cost that you have to put into, in this example, make these wind chimes. So we're going to take the revenue and subtract out the cost. So her profit is equal to, well, we just wrote a function for the revenue. We just said it was 48x minus 2x squared. We're going to subtract out the cost, and they gave us a function for the cost, 12x plus 64. Oops. All right, so again, profit is equal to the revenue, the money she brings in. We wrote an equation for that over here, minus the cost that it cost her to make the items. That's this right here. And now we can just subtract these two polynomials. We know how to do that. We just did that a couple videos ago. When we do this, let's go ahead. Oh yeah, first of all, subtracting. Remember, I like to rewrite this polynomial. We're going to distribute that negative. It's going to be negative 12x. Distribute over here, negative 64. And then now let's just get a final answer. Combining like terms, so now I'm done with this because I just distributed that negative. Look for your highest exponent. We got an x squared. I don't see any other x squared, so that is a negative. We have to pay attention to our negatives. Negative 2x squared. Now I'm looking for any x to the first power. So 48x minus 12x is a positive 36x. And then any constants, we just have that minus 64. So this function represents her profit on these wind chimes. So the original question was, how many wind chimes should Carolina sell each week to maximize her profit? What we can notice about this function that represents her profit is it's a quadratic function. The highest exponent is an x squared, so it has a degree of 2. It has a negative a value, so it's opening down. So this is going to be a parabola that opens down where we can find that maximum value. So here is a graph of that quadratic function. We easily could graph this on a graphing calculator to see the same thing, but is there a maximum to this function? Yeah, it's right here. So X is our number of wind chimes sold, and then the profit are Y values. So the vertex, which is the highest point, is at 998. So that means if she sells 9 wind chimes, she will maximize her profit at $98. If she's selling less than that, her profit's not as much. As she sells more, her profit's going down because of the cost involved in making the items. But this answers the question, how many wind chimes does she need to sell to maximize her profit? 9. And that maximum profit will be $98.